Yo guys, Theo here on Common Sense. Today was going to be one of those rare videos when I'm actually wearing a shirt, but then the sun came out just as I'm about to record, probably because the clock is actually 13:37 right now, and the real ones will know what I mean by that. So please let me know in the comments if you're a fellow elite hacker. So today we're going to be talking about the inner voice, which is actually just your voice, but the inner voice always comes before the outer voice. It's the way you speak to yourself and the way you describe reality around you. So this is so important, guys, for your well-being and your development. And I realized that this is what I coach people in a lot. So let me tell you, I start off right here. It was when I went through the whole panic attack thing that I actually got to know and understand what my inner voice was. Because all of us know that we are thinking, right? Sometimes we're doing it very actively, especially when we don't want to think about it. I don't think about that. I don't want to think about that, you know. But even when we think we are conscious of our thoughts, we are less conscious than we think. Because we feel like we come up with what's going on in our head by ourselves, and we can influence it, but so much of what's going on in here is conditioning. What you've just heard, especially growing up from your parents and people around you there, but about so many things. Words, thoughts that you think are your own really were put there by someone else. And how I discovered this was that I did not realize how nasty my inner voice had been until I finally got to experience what it was like when it was being kind and supportive. This is, by the way, before I go on about that, this is the ideal inner voice you want. Kind but honest. Think about it like this. I talk about how you have a relationship to yourself just as you have a relationship with someone else. It's kind of like you're two people, you know. And so you want to be speaking to yourself in the exact same way you would want someone else to be speaking to you. And what do you want your good friends to do? Do you want them to lie to you so you just feel good when you're in the wrong? Or do you want them to do you want your friends to call you out if you're in the wrong somehow? Well, you probably would say that you want them to call you out, but on the other hand, you don't want them to be all nasty about it, right? That you want to, like, come on, give me a break, be a bit more constructive with your feedback. When you say it in that way, I just get frustrated, I don't feel good, I don't want to listen to you when you say it in that way. It's the same with you guys. You want an inner voice that's kind but honest. You see, the voice can both be that it's just nasty, putting you down. Why are you like this? Why can't you get over it? You'll never do that, blah, 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 blah. But the funny thing is that even for a person that has that going on, sometimes you have that ego voice that tells you, just lies about, I mean, both are ego voices, but I mean, the arrogant ego voice that's like, yeah, you're the best, yeah, you're just so great, blah, 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 but just lies to you when you are this obvious little, yeah, just loser, you know. You want neither of those. You want a truthful inner voice. So that's what I got to experience after my first panic attacks there. When I come home and the panic, you know, was lifted from me, then the inner voice was finally kind and honest. It said, like, look, man, you must have fucked up because this is not supposed to happen. You weren't just born and, you know, doomed for this to happen. You must have screwed up somehow, but you didn't know, you know, you could not have predicted that this would happen. And what you're dealing with now is tough, man. And you're doing great. You're doing great for not just throwing in the towel, ending it, you know. You're doing great. And this is how I learned this. And I started having such a much nicer, you know, just rapport with myself, right? And it's what I've noticed. I see it now when I have it very well with myself, you know, that this is the problem with so many people. And I talk about, you know, being a man of your word or a woman of your word and making your actions and words line up. Well, you also need the story in your head to line up with reality as much as possible. It's going to make you so much happier. You know, you trust yourself. When the voice is, you know, it's not kissing your ass, being like, oh, you're so fucking great just because you exist. But it will tell you you're fucking good when you are. But it's also not putting you down completely when, you know, you make a mistake or something. It just acknowledges, like, okay, you made a mistake. What do we do now, you know? And this is the way you want it, guys. Because we get, when we are stuck in these fights, it's like you're stuck in a toxic relationship with yourself otherwise. And what I've noticed, the point I want to make here, mainly is like, when you go through change, you know, because we a lot from parents, for instance, that have very high expectations on us. We expect ourselves to be able to be perfect, and we beat ourselves up when we're not. But if that is never possible, you know, if it's never possible to just go from being, you know, the way I used to be, skinny, fat, loser, depressed, nihilist, loser times 2 kind of guy. Of course, I couldn't go to being this immediately. So if I would have thought that, I would have failed every time, and then I would have beaten myself up for it, you know. It's no good. So when the voice can just be honest, just say it like it is. Because this is what I notice with people I coach. Lots of people that I coach, they have been drawn to me like because we have something in common, right? They see something, some similarity between me and them, but that I've managed to overcome it. And what I see with a lot of people is this expecting themselves to be able to be perfect. And then the inner voice will tell them lies. You know, this time I'll definitely quit the weed. This time I'm not going to drink anymore. Oh, this time I'm definitely going to make it with this fast, you know. And what happens if you're stuck in this loop? You don't like liars, right? Well, you don't like yourself when you keep telling yourself that I'll definitely do this, and then you don't, over and over and over again. And then this voice beats you up instead, because you're like, yeah, you went against your word. Or the fuck, you said this again. You went against it, you know. So if you can change the voice, be more understanding to yourself, just tell yourself that I'm gonna do my best, you know, and acknowledge when mistakes happen, but don't beat yourself up for it. It's like, okay, I apparently wasn't ready for this quite yet. Now, what do I do now, you know? Because it's often that we get stuck in this battle with ourselves. That's even the problem. Like I'll take an example, again with Parallel Universe Theo, that... you know, I just happen, don't ask me how I know, but there is a parallel universe where there is an exact replica of me, everything on point. It's just that guy smokes weed, or smoked, which I would never do, of course. But that guy, he kept always, even when he had got himself in order quite a bit, this was something he felt like was doing too much and wanted to quit. He kept saying every time he had the last, like, okay, now I'm quitting, tomorrow I'm not getting anything new, and now, yeah, I'm all done, you know. And then he got very upset with himself that when he always said this and then always went against his own word to himself and went and get it and be like, why are you like this, you know, why did you do it again, this fucking bullshit, you know. And so what this Parallel Universe Theo learned was that, yeah, it doesn't work out. It's ego. When you try to just make it, I want to quit, you know, so I say I am doing it, but you know, it's bullshit, because apparently this Theo couldn't do it, right? So what he instead did was like, okay, I accept the fact, I'm not perfect, you know, I'll just keep doing this for a bit, you know, see what happens. And then when he hasn't like imposed this, like, I must quit now, or else it's a you know, it's a failure. It just plays out in a completely different way. Now, when he wasn't thinking ahead of like, I want to do the thing that I'm not supposed to do, you know, it just came to a point when he'd normally go get that and realize that, I don't really feel like it now. I think I can actually make the choice to not do it now. You see, he had not went ahead of himself and just tell these lies that I'll definitely do it now, you know. And then it was just easier to do it then. And even then, if we would have slipped or gone back to it, he can be, you know, there's no broken promise to yourself, so you don't have to get so upset with yourself. So do you see, you want the voice to be telling you the truth all the time, as much as possible. And again, the truth, you can call yourself out like, yeah, I failed there, you know, but don't beat yourself up for it. And it's the opposite too. Don't fucking think, don't just be, I'm the best. You know, a lot of people think that was confidence, it's just being around, I'm the best, da, 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 da. But it's bullshit. If you're not the best, you shouldn't be telling yourself that you're the best, you know. But when you are, you should. You see, it's about syncing up the voice with reality as much as possible all the time. And then the funny thing is that the better like you get to know yourself like this, the better relation, then you can actually start, like, I call myself out sometimes when I try to make an excuse for something. I like in my, like, fuck yourself, Theo, what are you trying to skip this now? You think you're gonna get away with that? No. You become the other way too. I often think I'm fucking hilarious with myself. I can start laughing at something I told myself in here. But it's like, you gotta get to know this voice, and you gotta, it's so interesting because, you know, in relationships, may it be with your friend that something has clashed, you know, you have to work on your communication sometimes, but especially in romantic relationships, right? Very, very important to work on the communication. This is what you do with yourself too. Learn to communicate clearly and truthfully with yourself. Learn what works best. When you talk to yourself, in what way, what works best, and not try to force things so fucking much all the time. I'll definitely do it this time, or beat yourself up like that. I don't know, guys. It's a big topic. Sometimes it's something because I've talked about this in other videos, you know. I sometimes want to narrow it down more, but it was something. It just came to mind because it was a client that gave me the idea, actually, like indirectly, because he keeps doing this all the time. He says way too much to himself, promises way too much, not to me even, you know. He says it to me, but it's to him. Remember that. The promise to someone else is mainly always to yourself. Then he breaks it, and then he beats himself up a lot. And I want you to know, this is how I talk to my clients the same way I talk to myself. I am honest. I can call them out on a lot. I can pull their pants down big time, you know, or hold the mirror in front of them, but I'm never angry. I never beat them up. If I'd ever be angry in some way, it's if they mistreat me, you know. But in regards to their process, so many people come all like, oh, ashamed, and think I'm going to yell at them or something. Remember, you project onto other people. That's what I do. I talk kindly to myself. That's why I always talk kindly to you as well, right? And so that's why when you beat yourself up, you think that other people do too. But you see, so treating yourself better is treating other people better. And yeah, just know that, guys. I will call you out big time. And this is what I do on this channel in my videos too. People think I'm mad sometimes because of the way I talk. I'm never mad. I'm just honest and fired up and passionate like that. But yeah, and the same thing goes for me. I'm very rarely mad. Like, you know, we're not perfect. You're always working on it. You have stuff left to do. But anyway, I say I'm running out of space. So please like and comment. What did you think? Anything more you want me to elaborate on? Please let me know. Watch the stream tomorrow, guys. 6 p.m. Central European Standard Time. Please subscribe for more content. Fitness, fast and losing weight. Stoicism, philosophy. Now it's over. I'll see you later, guys. Have a good weekend. Peace.